Hey everyone, me Flower Child 567, and it's Friday morning, and it is Tamriel Storyteller hour, and yeah, I'm I'm ill prepared for today, but I wanted to tell you that one of my happiest things to do in ESO is to adventure. That to me, really honestly, is what it's all about. So here we are, and we're in the Kalesian Ruin on the peninsula, Televani Peninsula. You can see where I'm located. This was a gifted house, so it's so nice. And as you all know, those of you who have been watching me for a little bit, you all know this is where I come to for this wonderful hour. And I just wanted to let you know that it's March 1st. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? It's March 1st. And wow. Here's our world, right? This is our world. Tamriel. And of course, as we know it, Tamriel, when you come out, here's the entire map. This is really the entire map. So in the center is Tamriel. And then if we go up here to 12 o'clock and we start going around, we've got Artaeum. Yeah. And of course, Artaeum is where I also live, in the Grand Khajiit Villa, which I have to tell you, and maybe we'll hop over there. I entered into a housing contest for love, and I did it right in the Khajiit Villa, and I won second prize again. All right. And then if you come down here, you've got the Deadlands, and you've got Fargrave. You go into Fargrave first, and then the Deadlands, usually, or when you're beginning the quest. Here's the Clockwork City. And then if we come up here, we've got Cold Harbor, which is where the Soul Shriven is done. It's an important quest for all of us to do. It opens up your soul, I'll show you in just a second. And then Apocrypha, and that's our latest, our latest and our greatest, right? Which connects off of the Televani Peninsula, which is where I'm standing. I'm going to just come back over here to Soul Shriven, and the reason why it's such an important adventure land for us, even for those who are PvPers, right? It's important for you to do that quest the main story quest there, the Soul Shriven, because it opens up for you the soul magic. And I'll tell you what, that Soul Strike 3, the ultimate, is awesome. But this is the only way you can open up the soul magic line, is Soul Shriven, and getting that up there. And I could be wrong. Hey, you can tell me if I'm wrong. All right. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Hi, everyone tuning in. Hey, visionary. Nice to see you as always, sis. All right, let's go up here and come on into our library. Here we are, dedicated to the 8 divines, right? So let's come over here and let's light our candles. There we go. Let's open it up. Let's pull out our apocryphal tome. Here we go. Yay, yay, yay. And, all right, let's open up the day, shall we? Here we go. And now we're ready to begin our adventures. So I have so many lore books to read to you still. We've read all of these, and we haven't even begun these back here. And, well, you know, what can I say? We've read all of these because this is origin story. And we've read that one, the 9 Commands. We have not read all of these. Here's some different books. Oh, I'm rambling. We definitely haven't read all of the Daedra books, which we're going to. And Vivek and Mephala I read to you. And so on and so forth. Okay. Let's go down into the workshop, shall we? Oh, the connect has lost. Why? I wonder why it lost connection. Oh, you guys, it ran out of battery. Hold on, I gotta put a new battery in it. This happens occasionally. I need to charge my chargeable batteries now. I'm out of both. I wasn't paying attention. Did you see that come up on the screen? Because I didn't. Okay, give me a sec. So this is part of the adventure. And part of the lore. Of playing a game, being a gamer. Alright, things to talk about today. First of all, just remember that through this weekend to Tuesday, I think, is our Cyrodiil PvP and Battleground event. So you can get lots of goodies if you're interested, even if you're not a PvPer. But you're a quester. This is a great time to go get your sticker book filled up, and there's daily quests that you can go down and get. And I'm going to show you something for those of you who are not PvPers but want to take part or try it out. When you go to campaigns, all right, and you go to Cyrodiil, go enter through Raven Watch. It's a no champion point, right? So most of the and it's very empty. Most of the people who go down there are going to go in because they're doing the quest line. All right. So did you see that? So again, let me show you, because I know you have to be level 10, I believe, to be able to enter, because that's when it opens up for you. So you go into your menu, your inventory, right? Here's your inventory. And you come down to campaigns under your skill and champion points. You go into Cyrodiil, and you go all the way down to Raven Watch, which is a standard no CP. Okay? And you go down through there. All right. Then, if you want to go into Imperial City, it's the same thing. You go to Imperial City, and you go down to no CP Imperial City, and you get the quest that's right there, and you don't even have to go down into the land. You can stand it, because you have to help rescue 15 people, 15 residents, and you just stand up on the platform and run around and shoot. Shoot. Well, anyways, there's lots of things you can do down there. Here we are. You know, today I really felt like just talking about and looking at the lore of adventure. So let's go out here. I'm going to go outside because I'm not in the mood, to be perfectly honest. I'm not in the mood to just sit inside. I want to be questing. I want to be out there on the land. And I really want to have fun traveling. And it's what I do best. Questing is what I do best. Hi. Hello. So here, let's open it up. Let's open up our lore books. And I'll show you where I've been questing, okay? I'll show you exactly where I've been questing. So, I've been questing, here's where Cyrodiil and Imperial City is, by the way. Boom, boom. Alright, I've been questing here in northern Elsewhere, and mostly up here, let me go into the city. Mostly up here in Riverhold, because Riverhold has an achievement quest, and you have to go up there to the museum, and I'm going to show you what that quest is. This is part of our fun experiences, right? Wait, sorry. Blah, blah, blah. Let me go to the world map, and let me go back into okay, so there's a if I were to open that zone, right, there's this mural mender, and you see all these pieces. I have the last 5 to do, which I'll probably get done today. I'll be doing that after, maybe later today, over the weekend for sure. And it's the last thing I need to do in northern Elsewhere. And it's a mural, and then you get the mural. It's an achievement, and then you get the mural for your house. So you go and pick up the fragments. But I've really been enjoying it. And I still have one more lore book to find, which is called Litter Mates of Darkness. Yesterday I was there, and I was really going after the dragons that just land on the land, and randomly, not at the main dragon areas. That was really fun. I really enjoyed that. Alright, you guys, here, let's take a look at the lore. And I'm really sorry, only those who are VIPs, subscribers, and followers seem to be able to, and first-time chatters seem to be able to post to my Twitch channel. Nobody else seems to be able to post. There seems to be some kind of a glitch. I've put in a fix-it ticket to see what's going on, and so I know I've got quite a few of you, and my normal chatters aren't even chatting with me anymore, and so I don't know what that's all about. But I will. I'm trying to get down to the bottom of it. It's a week now since anybody has been able to chat, so it's very disconcerting, and I can't figure it out on my own. So anyways, I put in a ticket to Twitch to understand what's going on, because I didn't think I changed any of my settings, but apparently I have. All right, let's go to our journals, our Lord Library. And we're going to come up here. I want to read the first 3 books called The Adventurers Almanac. And there's only 3 of them. Okay, 1st edition, 2nd edition, 3rd edition. All right. Scordo the knife. And Scordo is an orc, by the way. And he's an orc that you meet in Rivenspire. You actually kind of help save him. You free him. And he's quite a character. But here we go. I'm not going to read in his voice, because that's really like this, and I can't maintain that. Anyways, Adventurers Almanac, first edition, by Scordo the Knife. If you're like me, or you want to be like me, which is understandable, you've got talents people want. More importantly, talents people will pay for. Demand for people like us is high these days, so I took the trouble of writing down my best leads. Why? I couldn't take all these jobs if I wanted to, and selling these books is a nice little score on the side. If you stole this book, go and pay for it, unless it's in a lending library. Then steal it, and we'll call it square. Moochers. Okay, here's my first lead. It's on crafting writs. They don't call me the knife on account of my forge work, but when I'm in town between jobs, it pays to check the notice boards, grab a writ, hammer on some things, get paid, and find the tavern. Easy money. Guilds. Hey, the easiest route to steady work, join a guild. For example, our flower child 567 has a guild called the Banshees. Why not join her guild? It's what they're there for. That might seem obvious and stupid to put in my book. Almanacs cover everything, stupid. If you like solving problems with violence legally, the Fighters Guild has you covered. Plus, they've got guild halls all over Tamriel. I don't endorse the illegal sort of killing, but I hear the Dark Brotherhood accepts all kinds of murder contracts for hire. Maybe blood isn't your thing, but riches definitely are. I could say hypothetically there might be sort of thieves guild that organizes that sort of sneaky business. Again, Almanac, just being thorough here. The Mages Guild may seem exclusive, but they got needs too, so pay them a visit even if sorcery isn't your thing. They've got locations in most cities. Now, if you're looking for a big score and maybe don't got a lot of sense, go get in the good graces of the Undaunted. They've got enclaves in the major capitals and treasure piled higher than Red Mountain that they're just itching to give away, provided you're crazy enough to do what they ask to earn it. War? Yeah, the three armies never stop fighting. Throw your lot in with an alliance. What are our alliances? Let's think about it here for a moment. You got the Aldemary Dominion, the yellow. You got the Daggerfall Covenant, the blue. And you've got the Ebonheart Pack, the red. Alright, so get to Cyrodiil in the Imperial City and reap the spoils. Plenty to go around for the victors. That's called the PvP region of Elderscrolls Online. And don't forget, folks, in those war-torn regions need more help than anybody. Whether you want to charge them is your business, but there are always towns out there in need of some help. Now, regions of interest. Some places just have more need for people like us than others. I don't just visit Hrothgar because it reminds me of home. Orsinium's got a big demand for tough types to go out and pacify the wilderness, and while I can't say it's conventionally profitable, Fraglorn is such a crazy place that half the time the stars are falling and the other, it's raining treasure. Don't forget to check the boards on the way out of town, too, at least on the Gold Coast and in Hughesbane. Bounties and all sorts of other odd jobs find their way onto the boards. from folks who aren't picky about who solves their problems. You'll see all of these with a blue arrow icon above them. Those are called dailies. The last word, there you go. All the ways I know how to keep busy in this business. I'm not saying you've got to do all this stuff every day, but you could if you wanted to. And don't value sleep. Don't go thinking you can buy this copy and be done with it. Times change, and when they do, Squirtle the Knife's going to write it down. Save up. Tips welcome. He's pretty funny. Hold on. I'm gonna position this so that you can see my little character while I read. How's that? Whoops. Oh no. Oh gosh. I put a... Oh well, it doesn't matter. Alright, let's go on to the next one, shall we? Okay, Adventurers Almanac number 2 by Squirtle the Knife. Welcome back, Scabs! Bet you thought I'd never have enough material to write a second one of these. You'd be wrong, of course, because here we go again. Far be it from me to overlook a chance to educate the next generation of meat puppets lining up to make a few drakes. Vardenfell. Yeah, let's look at Vardenfell. This dusty heap of rocks and mushrooms features some prime pickings for the discerning mercenary. If you can get over how ornery the Dark Elves can get about their gods and their dead relatives, you can score some choice jobs from your fixtures in the Hall of Justice in Vivek City, and tell Traylon he still owes me gold for the last card game he cheated his arse off to win. Clockwork City? Look, I'm not saying this place exists, but I know a guy who says it does, and if you can get inside, there's plenty of work to be done that the creepy locals ain't got time to deal with, or consider beneath their interests. You know, I don't care. People look down on us orcs all the time, but are happy to open their pouches when they need something's head smashed in. Losers. Pit fights? Now we're talking. You hear about those new fighting leagues they opened up recently? Love it. Action, bloodshed, beatdowns, and winners take all. Just don't lose. You'll get pitted against the best, the worst, and the worst of the worst. You ever see a guy just run around in a fighting arena trying to figure out which end of his sword goes in the other jerk? It's a wonder these mooks can get into their armor. I always put my gold on the pit demons, by the by. Easy money, long as there ain't an Argonian on their team. What are you gonna do? Breathe underwater? Ha. And we're done. That's all you get from me this time, pest bait. Maybe next time Uncle Squirtle will serenade you with his awesome knowledge and experience. Once he finds out where the next bunch of jobs happen to be, just don't horn in on my work if I'm on the same contract. Ya hear? Stay frosty, oh yeah, and tusk off, ya losers. Hey, I want to share something with you. What was I going to say? God, I went blank. My mind went in 3 different directions at the same time. So until I remember, I guess let's just look at this Adventurers Almanac 3rd edition. And it's by Squirtle the Knife. Another day, another drake. That's the way I look at it. And you should too if you've got any sense. So listen up. Papa Squirtle's got more wisdom to sell along with his sword. Here are my latest leads for the discerning mercenary. Somerset. The high and mighty elves of Somerset have finally deigned to let us mere mortals set foot on their unspoiled soil, but don't believe all the sugar-coated twaddle. The place has a heap of troubles. The Justiculars in Alinor are practically begging for competent mercenaries to come show them how it's done. And hey, between you and me, flower child just happens to be a high and mighty elf. Oh yeah. Just look at those ears of hers. Oh, is that a little scowl I detected on her face? All right, Merkmeyer. You ever heard of crocodilic collections? Me neither. Not until they started throwing gold around like King Yorhan in a bod house. I don't know where they're getting their financing, but they pay their dues on time. And when you get to Lilmonth, tell them Squirtle sent you. I want my cut. If running errands for a bunch of mud panners doesn't excite you, the Dead Water Tribe is organizing death hunts for some of the nastiest things in Merkmeyer. It'll get your blood pumping out of your neck if you're not careful. Maybe the idea of wading through a bog, getting eaten alive by bugs doesn't appeal. Can't imagine why. You can still get your dainty hands on some of that easy Cyrodiilic collections gold. You can find an Argonian organizing supplies for their expeditions. Goes by Gilar. He'll talk your ear off if you let him, but he's always got something that needs doing. Dragons, finally, they're Tuscan dragons raging across Elsewhere. And if you're just getting this news from me, get out from under the rock you call home and get to work. The Northern Elsewhere Defense Force is recruiting any help they can get for their war effort against the skelly bastards. They've got people stationed in Gratwood, north of Cormont. Now, I ain't heard much more than rumors about dragon hunting, but you can bet there's someone out there itching to bag a dragon and willing to offer a reward. Personally, you couldn't pay me enough to tangle with one of those flying murder lizards, though you're welcome to try. There you have it. Plenty of work for an enterprising adventurer for hire. Remember, Papa Scordo when you strike it rich. And if you strike it dead, go haunt the sorry sack who taught you to fight. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. So let's take a look at some of the other, we've been looking at the Anequina archives because that's been all the Khajiit. And by the way, because the Khajiits are Northern Elsewhere, Southern Elsewhere, and Kennisruth, right? They have a huge library. Look at 116 books, 83 of which I've only gotten. And some of these I've been reading to you, haven't I? So I thought what I would do is continue this, for the next 10 minutes maybe. Some of the things you'll find in Northern Elsewhere, Southern Elsewhere, Kennisruth, because that's the area that I'm currently going to be working through this weekend. And maybe it'll attract you and you want to come hang out with me. Anyways, let's look at the Anequina Animal Identification and Tasting by Hildegard Mincemeat. You like meat, yes? You want to live in warm climate too, like Hildegard, so you come to Elsewhere? Good choice. There's no snow here. This one was trapper in Winterhold long ago, but he has lived in Anequina many years now, learning the language and teaching savanna cats how to catch prey without pantsing. Hildegard cannot draw, so he will just tell you what to catch. He wishes you luck. Jerboa. There are many mice in Elsewhere. Hildegard thinks this is why there are also many cats. Mice and rats aren't usually good eating, except maybe skeevers, but in Anequina there are bunny mice called jerboas that make good meatballs. Truthfully, Hildegard does not know if they are more bunny or mouse. Have long ears and legs, but also long tails. This one thinks you will know when you see them. You will see lots of them. They breed quickly, take 2 or 3 daily for meals, and they won't even notice. String noose laid over mouth of their den is sure to catch one by nightfall. Hildegard thinks they taste a little sweet. Must be the moon sugar they get into. And those are such cute little critters, too. I have a pet of a gerbil. Finnick foxes. There are also many large-eared foxes that Horticare thinks look like cats, but they are not cats, so you can eat them without getting in trouble. This one thought huge ears were silly, but they work. These foxes are very hard to hunt, but Horticare has great method for catching. Gather some scorpions for foxes to eat. They like scorpions. Cut off stingers. Mince garlic and onions. Rub paste on scorpions. Good and thick. Paste is poison to foxes. Kills and seasons them at the same time. Foxes remind Horticare of wolf, but more tender and less gamey. All right, fell runner. Big birds, not a horse big. Goat to deer big. They have long legs and necks with tiny wings. These birds don't fly or swim. They run fast, but very stupid. Horticare herds them into tripwires with loud shouting. At full speed, they fall and break things, fragile bones. Fell runners make good, lean jerky, but are tricky to cook without getting dry. Keep bacon grease for basting. Oh my goodness. Terror birds, bigger birds, kind of vulture, lizard. They don't fly but run, leap, and claw. Very strong. Horticare has seen one trample a lion. Very smart too. Hard to trap and dangerous to hunt. This one found one dead and tried meat. Though stringy, greasy, and tastes like used boots, best avoided. Not worth trouble. Torn gecko. Like other geckos, but has thorns. Good name, yes? They hunt bugs during day and move quick, but at night they look for warmth and are sluggish. Look for dark stone. You'll find some resting. Grab them with little trouble. Watch thorns, though. Also taste like other geckos. If you like gecko meat, you will like thorn gecko meat. Daggerback. Bristly boar found lots of places. Tusks and quills all around head. Dig a hole. Place blanket over it. Weigh down with rocks. Scatter sand and mushrooms on top of blanket. If hole deep enough, you eat well for weeks. Strong taste. Best in stew. Desert elite. Mouth with legs. Horticare has seen them all over Tamriel. This one thinks desert ones are meanest. Big mouth to feed and not much to eat. Net traps work best. Once entangled, they can't escape. Skin is tough, but meat is good if chewy. Sept adder. Horticare has not seen these before coming to Elsewhere. He was told they are also found in Hammerfell. Large desert snakes, usually brown scald with wings on their backs. They don't fly much. Mostly use wings to scare predators and shade head. They can pounce from great distance, though. Normally wouldn't try to net snake, but wings are easily trapped, easy to skin and cook, like scaly, scary hens. Lions. Not all cats in Elsewhere are Khajiit, but more cats are Khajiit than you might expect. This one can't usually tell unless the cat is clothed. Horticare suggests not eating cats while in Elsewhere. Khajiit think it is in poor taste. Meat is actually tasty, though. All right. There, as you travel, you know what to catch for your food, you know? And this one, this is, well, I'm not even going to go into that. All right. I already read to you cat food. We've already read the Pura volumes 1, 2, and 3 and Dancing Around. We've read that. We've read that. Food Victims, we're not going to go into that. Gifts of Death and Fear. We read The Guide to Northern Elsewhere. We read Kunzari's information. And we've read a lot of this. Let's see. Matlock the Immortal we read Moon Sugar. We read that on the trail. We read that. On those who knew Bondar. Did we read this one? Okay, let's read this one. Then after we're done with this one, I'll take a quick... Well, let me do this first. Let me finish. Children's Origins of... Oh, martial tradition. All right, let's read this one. Origins of the Khajiiti martial tradition by Tindwani Sephora of Foreign Customs. Despite its status as one of the Elswere's most enduring traditions, the origins of Khajiiti martial arts or claw dances remain murky at best. The burning of Corinthi's Grand Archive by Meru's cultus in the First Era 463 destroyed most of the region's Merithic records, making the work of cultural historians like myself very difficult indeed. Luckily, Darloch Bray, the famed conqueror and so-called Golden Beast of Anequina, took great pains to secure what histories remain placing them in vaults and smaller archives throughout Elsewhere. Gaining access to these archives is no small feat for a high elf, I can tell you. But years of dogged persistence have borne some meager fruits. From what I can ascertain, life in the Etheric era Elsewhere was a toilsome affair. At that time, the famed 16 kingdoms of the Khajiit were little more than competing fiefdoms ruled by a cruel hunter aristocracy. Severe droughts and periods of famine struck Anequina with pitiless regularity, and the constant feuding of the hunter nobles resulted in widespread military conscription, robbing peasant communities of useful labor and promoting still greater famine across the region. The only check placed on the hunt lords resided in the temples of Two Moons Dance. Khajiiti adepts and other Torval clergy wielded significant cultural influence, and occasionally used it to vex or even overthrow particularly vicious hunt lords. The aristocracy chafed at these intrusions, but knew better than to challenge the adepts directly. At some point in the high days of the Merithic era, a particularly ruthless hunt lord named Takazin, the stripped death, paid a flock of criminals to set fire to the Ralka temple, and the clergy, displaced by the blaze, immediately fielded a small army of warrior adepts to punish those responsible. The details of the conflict are lost to the ages, but the resolution was quite clear. Takazin's forces squashed the priestly uprising and drove the remaining adepts out of the kingdom of June altogether. Seizing the opportunity to be done with the adepts meddling once and for all, the other hunter lords across the northern tier of what is now Elsewhere instituted a policy of weapon confiscation. They cited the violence in Raqqa as evidence of the clergy's treasonous intentions and brutally suppressed any religious order that refused to comply. After an extended period of deep despondency and contemplation, the adepts turned inward, cutting ties with the politics of the age and focusing entirely on self-perfection. Religious meditation was an essential part of that journey. In many cultures, meditation is a quiet and motionless activity. Not so for Khajiit. Their nervous energy and focus on raw physicality drove them to adopt a lyrical dance-like form of meditation. It would have taken long for the adepts' dancing to transform into something akin to a martial art. Smooth, meditative dance gave way to swift claw strikes and daring leaps, and this should come as no surprise, given the Khajiit's predatory instincts. People possessing claws and fangs cannot be expected to remain peaceful forever. After centuries of isolation, the adepts emerged from their cloisters, bristling with martial skill and wisdom. By this point, the hunter aristocracy was nearing its end. Disparities in wealth and influence had reached a tipping point, paving the way for a long overdue public uprising. The adepts wasted no time sharing their hard-earned skills within the beleaguered peasantry. and within the span of a few generations, the adepts' martial arts were completely ubiquitous. All the people needed was a spark. In the later days of the Meritic era, hunt lords from Merivel and Helkarn drafted thousands of peasants into military service, bringing about one of the worst famines in Elswere's history. After 3 years of feudal conflict, the armies of both lords turned on their masters, toppling the aristocracy in a rain of slashing claws, wind kicks, and bone-breaking punches. Before long, peasant uprisings broke out in nearby Riverhold, Orcrest, Burkhardt, Brukra, and Anequina. Within a century, the regal hunter caste that had reigned over Elswere for thousands of years fell from power. We know that the glorious dream of a farming utopia never took hold in Elswere. Within a few hundred years, a new brand of landed nobility ascended to the thrones of the 16 kingdoms, but the people have never forgotten the power they wield. Despite the lack of written records, the rich oral traditions of the Khajiiti clan mothers ensure that the catfolk never forget their struggles and triumphs. I remain an outsider here, but I cannot help but think that we approach a new tipping point in Elswere. The Imperial Eurasia farm is not so very different from the hunt lords of millennium past, and if she does not learn from her missteps, she may well share their fate. Interesting. There is one thing. Let's see if it's in here. The 16 kingdoms. Here we go. It's not so long, so I want to read this to you because this is important for Khajiitis. So if you're a Khajiit, listen up. A traditional Khajiiti children's chant as collected by senior scholastic Hilo Silla. Queen and her court come down the road, the monarch of Anequina Al, the nomad clans who follow the herds, the people of Anequina Al. The king and his court come down the road, the haughty king of Rimmon, the motley traders of the Rim, the fractious folk of Rimmon. The queen and her court come down the road, the queen of Riverhold, the doughty farmers of the north, planters of Riverhold. The king and his court come down the road, the moon bishop of Dune, the priests and scholars of the past, the dusty sages of Dune. The queen and her court come down the road, the sovereign of Orcrest, the desert cats of the baking sand, the wind-blown roads of Orcrest. The king and his court come down the road, the warrior kings of Burkhardt, fierce welders of the sword and bow, the swift-marching soldiers of Burkhardt. The queen and her court come down the road, the rum potentate of Maryvale, the brewers and distillers bold, the joyous fermenters of Maryvale. The king and his court come down the road, the livestock lord of Helkarn, wary and sharp-eyed shepherd folk, the herding cats of Helkarn. The queen and her court come down the road, bard queen of Alabaster, the learned poets of the coast, dramatists of Alabaster. The king and his court come down the road, the merchant prince of Bukra, the river traders sharp and savvy, the traffickers of Bukra. The queen and her court come down the road, the carpenter queen of Corinthi, the lumber cats of the upland woods, the carvers and joiners of Corinthi. The king and his court come down the road, the pious prince of Palatine, the arcane adepts of oracular oaths, the prayerful priests of Palatine. The queen and her court come down the road, the jungle queen of Tinmar, the forest folk of leaf and branch, tree-dwelling first stock of Tinmar. The king and his court come down the road, the sacred mane of Torval, servants of hirsute majesty, the loyal guards of Terval. The queen and her court come down the road, the countless of Kinarathia, sugar planters and fishing camps, the wind-kissed folk of Kinarathia. The king and his court come down the road, the harbor duke of Shankal, sailors and stevedores of the ports, the nautical knaves of Shinkal. How fun is that, right? So I think that's important to know. And yeah, that's the last I'll be reading of Khajiit. And so now what I'd like to do to end our day today is stand. I take that symbol off of my head. I can't believe I put it on my head. And I am going to take you to see my housing contest entry that won second place. So let me get you prepared. I know I need to give you a little bit of pixie dust, but before I do that, let's make sure we've got the location accurate. Let's see, we're going to go to right over there, Arcana. And let me put some pixie dust on you now so that you can fly with me, dear friends. So here we go. Glimmer dust for you. Yes, 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 yes. And now, are you ready? We are going to fly. Opening the portal as we fly. Very nice, very good. And here we go. Take a deep breath. And to our grand Khajiit villa we go. Ooh, that's a nice one. Ooh, sorry about that. My husband brought me back a piece of beach glass. Here we are at the Khajiit villa. And I want to invite you, and so I'm going to go into first person. So the theme of this housing contest, first of all, was love, because it took place in February. And so I decided to use just the foyer of the Khajiit villa, and I decided to call it the Tryst negotiations of Hildegard and Sharpest Night. And of course, as perfectly timed was the availability of the new Swan music box. Tell me that isn't sweet. And the music is just delightful and sets the tone for our Tryst negotiation. So let's come in to this little secluded garden with oh my gosh, Meridia's light shining over our two lovers who gathered together there on the dais. But let's go up and see what they have to say. Off to the right is a Mara shrine. Oh, and look there's a monster peeking out. Oh, and another monster peeking out. Even peaceful, beautiful locations cannot keep the monsters of Tamriel at bay. But the Mara butterfly graces the garden, and a beautiful Great Dane watches on as our two, perhaps, strange lovers join together. Let's listen to them talk. Oh, what's he doing? Oh, he's bringing her a little gift of an aardvark. Isn't that sweet? Sharp.
I try not to think too much about who I was before my memories got ripped from me. I mean, what's more scary? The thought that I was someone completely different? Or that I was exactly the same?
Oh, And let's see what Hildegard has to say
I
in
think my
response.
wolf side likes Squirrel quite a bit. She always brings him tokens of affection after each kill. Sure, it's a bit embarrassing when I come back to myself with a finger bone between my teeth, but it's also sweet.
I get a little stir-crazy if I go too long without feeling the wind at my back. Might take off on my own for a bit, if nobody's around.
We are not supposed to talk about it, but you seem friendly enough. My brother Cole and I, we are part of the Dark Brotherhood. And I am a werewolf. Keep it to yourself and Cole probably won't try to kill you. Probably.
I used to respect House Telvanni for refusing the Ebonheart Pact. Thought it was smart, staying out of a war. Now I know. Just because you agree with someone, it doesn't mean you're on the same side.
I heard from a shopkeep in Quatch that Western Skyrim is having a horrible time with werewolf attacks. He claimed it was some kind of uprising. I wonder if my old clan is involved. No, I don't plan to join them, if that's what you're thinking.
I read somewhere that spiders are the leading cause of death in Tamriel. So, if I see a spider in here, I'm killing it. No need to thank me.
You wouldn't know a place nearby where a person could do some howling, would you? Maybe with a nice echo and soft grass to sit in? Just curious.
And the last round?
Some drunk Nord once asked me why I bothered fishing from dry land when my kind was so good at swimming. He insisted I'd catch way more that way. I called him an idiot, but it still haunts me. What if he's right?
Let's see what she has to say.
Maybe it is the wolf in me, but I prefer the great outdoors. So many colors to take in and smells to explore.
They have quite a dialogue. Sometimes she does transform into a werewolf. Sometimes he reads to her out of the book. So these two are quite an interesting match. So their negotiation will continue to go on. And we'll just leave them to it, shall we? Yeah, as we back off and enjoy peaceful quiet of this Meridia raced trysting place. Hey T-Jard, nice to see you, and welcome Ayub Junior Mani. I don't know if I said that right, but it's nice to see you here. And we've come to the end of our Storyteller Hour. So I just want to take a moment to say thank you for tuning in. And it's March, and so this month I'm probably going, I was thinking I'm going to focus maybe on the High Elves and Argonians this month. We'll see. I know there was a request for orcs. That's why I started off with Squardo, the Knives, adventure logs. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll do orcs next because it was a special request. But hey, thank you for tuning in and joining me for the Tamriel Storyteller Hour. I wish you a great rest of your Friday and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I'm going to do my best to get this chat thing repaired. I have no clue what's going on with it. But thanks, and I'm glad that at least 3 of you were able to post. So that's a good thing. All right. Hey, don't forget, have fun with the event. You have the weekend. And I'll see you on Monday for Dungeon Mania Mondays. So tune in. Bye for now, you guys. Take care. This is Flower Child 567 tuning out.